Welcome. Hi, I'm Lorena, and today we are with Roberto Botelho, MD, PhD, is the president of the Uberlândia Medical Center and of the Adib Jatene Foundation, São Paulo, Brazil. He's co-founder of ITMS Telemedicine Network, Euro-Latino Medical Research, Uberlândia Medical Center, and more than 10 startups, including Aggir Venture Health and Conexa Health. He's co-author of more than 50 published journal articles and abstracts and 15 book chapters. Welcome, Roberto. It's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Hi, Lorena. Actually, this is my pleasure, this opportunity to share this 25 experience in innovation technology, most of them dedicated to the healthcare improvement. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
We were very excited to be here today and to start and learn more with you. You had the privilege of working with Dr. Adib Jatene, a Brazilian cardiologist and inventor of the Jatene operation, a surgery that saves thousands of children's lives every year around the world. What was it like to work closely with him, and how much did he influence your passion for innovation, Dr. Roberto?
This is amazing that you start with this very provocative question because uh, I read the book Outliers from Malcolm Gladwell. If you read the book, Professor Jatene was an outlier.
Yeah.
And he was an outlier of past century because he was born in 1939. And by working with him for 20 years, I could notice all the tips and tricks for the success people. Then I think the first message I would very much like to share is that you are the average of the five people you are more related. You are the average. So if you are lucky enough to deal with these people in their daily life, in their routine, you absorb from your subconscious, you absorb the most fundamental values for innovation. Then if you visit Dr. Jatene routine, you immediately realize his goal setting. He absolutely established the goals to follow. Time management. He was a master in time management. And as a fellow, when I was a fellow at his hostel, we had to learn how to manage our time, how to prioritize some actions and continuous
Amazing.
learning. We've
Yeah.
seen continuous learning. I remember very well when he was on his 80s. He was the very first to arrive at the scientific meetings, and he was the very last to leave. He used to present papers. And then the continuous learning was something of his routine. Healthy habits. He was an athlete. He trained, and then he had time for every aspect of the required success people. Uh, Resilience, networking. It was amazing. I think a key message to the young guys that are planning to innovate. Networking, I think, is a key message. And Dr. Jatene, he was the one who opened several doors for me. He had been he received some awards from more than 150 countries.
Whoa.
And by dealing with this international agenda, I learned very much what is the impact of networking and international networking. And then he taught us how to be, and it was so amazing that when we were supposed to attend an international meeting to present an abstract, he used to tell us how to dress, how to
Every
behave,
single detail. Whoa.
how to answer a question, every detail. And then it was really amazing. I had the chance to work and to deal and to travel with an outlier, and it was really amazing. And I think he was one of the most important outliers that I have dealt with.
And a general person. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
We start the best way as possible. It was amazing. Learn more about him, and thank you for it.
And you evoked one very important message that he used to tell us. When you are supposed to start any project, first of all, ask nature how it
Hmm.
impacts nature. And nature will give you back what is your participation. Then when you said about he was open, he was a donor 24 by 7. Then by doing this, if you have an idea, if you have an insight, ask nature, is it good for society? Is it good for professionals? Is it good for people? Is it good for government? Then if you answer these questions, very important question, you can move on. Because you, particularly in the technology field, you may be involved with disrupting technology that may not be very good for nature in general. Then and if you for instance, we can tell about artificial intelligence. Elon Musk is now questioning if we should move on, particularly on the autonomous AI. Then Jatene was a leader from past century that had all these values in mind. It was very important for all of his followers, and it's very important to have such a tutor in the early phase of your life.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing with us more about him. Dr. Roberto, you performed the first telemedicine ECG in Brazil and founded ITMS, one of the Latin America's most important telemedicine companies. What was it like to work on innovation in healthcare at the beginning of the digital revolution?
It was really, really amazing because I remember very well 1994 when I first met a retired engineer from NASA in Atlanta, and he was the first who introduced me to the tele EKG. 1994, I had no access to good internet at that time. When I share with my colleagues, they they discussed that I was becoming crazy. How could that be? How would I believe in those technology? In that time, then I had the first key message that is the leave out of your area of interest. I started to integrate to other areas of knowledge, engineering, telecommunication, and I think it was the very first message of that time that was an interdisciplinary approach. And I think that in the early beginning, when these guys that were out of the health environment, the health system environment, they could share with me some visions that were much ahead of our time. Then I could perceive, I could anticipate opportunities in a blue ocean. And the first message was that when you are a beginner, you may anticipate a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities. It was the first aspect because I realized that we had a lot to deliver, to expand access in a way that was never imagined before. But I had their information. Let me tell you one clear example. Uh, at that time, we didn't have good internet access. But the engineer, I questioned them, how can I take a document like an electrocardiogram and transmit from a place to another place with the same quality without missing any data, with all the required privacy? The guy answered me within 5 seconds. This is very easy, my friend, because I will compact the digital document, I will create a modem signal, I transmit the modem signal, and at the other side, we convert into the same digital document. It was completely out of my area of knowledge. And by interacting with these guys outside of my area of interest, I learned that it was possible. And when I shared with my colleagues, they realized that I was dreaming too much. It was the first message. And we must take care, because sometimes you are facing a technology that is not ready to be adopted. And this is a mistake that some innovators use to fall, because if the environment, if the ecosystem is not ready to absorb that technology,
Exactly.
it happened with the blockchain, and it
Yeah,
was one of the aspects of being a pioneer. To be a pioneer is a huge challenge, but you have the other opportunities. For example, most of the traditional healthcare at that time was paper-based. And
yeah,
when at that time, like 20 years ago, I used to tell people, look, we can digitize everything. We can digitize your thinkings. We can save you a lot of time. And we can implement. I started dealing with artificial intelligence like in 2015, and we implemented the complete automation of EKG interpretation. Then it took us like we moved from 10 minutes for EKG interpretation to 1 second
whoa, it's
within 1
amazing.
year. It's amazing. Then I faced those challenges, but one other challenge was the regulatory. Regulatory was really hard, because before COVID, it was forbidden to offer teleconsultation. Imagine that. It was forbidden. And then we had to face all those regulatory, privacy challenges. But on the other hand, we learned with the engineers what was like a HIPAA, Health Information
Yeah,
Protect Act. And by dealing with them, we could anticipate the challenge, and we could move on. So it was really exciting, and I strongly believe that by being a pioneer in any field, any young guy will have the opportunity to open the mind and to interact with the multidisciplinary team. And at the end, to conclude this very important question, I would say that the wonderful message is the learning of collaboration. The key message of this ecosystem, digital convergence, is collaboration. You start to collaborate with many fields, and I'm involved in a lot of innovation startups, from the management to the clinical care. And if you come like, let me give you a clear example, digital phenotyping, for example. When the first guy told me about digital phenotyping, I barely understood. But by digital phenotyping, I visit a digital information, for example, the patient bill. There's no clinical information, only the patient bill. That by visiting a hospital, a patient paid for some drugs, for some procedures, and the AI can visit this digital information and create a digital phenotype that predicts that this patient will suffer a myocardial infarction within 2 months. Because from the bill, I can predict that he's a diabetic, that he has hypertension, and he's a smoker. From the bill. This is digital phenotyping. And this is
saving lives, right?
multidisciplinary collaboration. And
Yeah,
when we come to a doctor and let him know that I can interpret an EKG with one cable, not the 10 cables we regularly implement over the past 100 years, then the key message is this. We come to an interdisciplinary collaboration that open your mind to opportunities you had never, ever thought about.
Great. First of all, I want to say congratulations, even if in an environment that maybe was not ready, prepared for such innovation, you made it. So thank you, because it's amazing what you did regarding this project and everything that you bring in terms of health innovation. You mentioned it about cooperation, and you serve on the board of multiple innovative companies and are now a global reference in technology applied to healthcare. Tell us a bit about your involvement and the significant challenge that innovative startups must overcome in the present and the future.
Lorena, if anyone asks me what is the most exciting meetings I have during the week, most exciting are the Aggir Venture Fund. It was the first venture capital dedicated to healthcare in Brazil. And why is the most exciting? Because we receive a funnel of we've seen 505 startups, and then we select out of these 500, we select 4 of them to invest, but we are following other 100 startups. Then this is the as you asked, how is it to deal with many companies? It's a massive flux of information, and you learn from other brains. You implement with the support of other brains. Then we have a network that we connect different neurons from different people to work together. And we have a lot of not only cross-selling, but cross the interchange of knowledge among them, from the business point of view, from the implementation point of view, from the technology point of view, because we experience a lot of challenges. One startup is facing a challenge in payment. Another fintech startup can easily help. In the same way, I'm opening the door of networking in the health business for the fintech, and vice versa. I
Yeah.
can implement the health solution to the fintech environment. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And over a sudden, you are running a startup with like 1,000 clients, and over a sudden, one client opened the doors to other 3,000 clients that you had never approached. Every day I have an experience like that. And when you come, I'm a doctor. I still work 2 days per week as a doctor. And the way I implement this technology to my curing practice, it helps patients. It saves me time. I have more time to dedicate to patient care. Then it's a controversy. How could I save time for this entrepreneurship? And wouldn't I lose time for my healthcare career? No, it's the opposite. I have more time to study. I have more time to practice. Then this interchange of knowledge in the ecosystem is really an experience that I recommend to everybody. And by dealing, again, we return back to that message that you are the average of the 5 people you most deal with. We are dealing with very, very intelligent people.
But
A
Dr.
great friend of
Roberto, sorry, I have to ask you. You are mentioning about this average, and I agree with you. And what's the secret to having so many brilliant minds always close to you? Because it's impressive, because you have a great team in terms of startups. You have Adib Jatene as a mentor. So what's the secret to having so many brilliant minds always close to you?
I believe from my observations, I strongly recommend people to. There is a book, uh, How Hippies Saved Science, and there is another book that I strongly recommend, that is Stealing Fire. And these two books they explain how or what's the difference of your brain and your mind. We have 1% performed by the brain and more than 99% to be performed by the mind. And it was Gustav Jung that proposed the term of synchronicity. And I am a strong believer on the synchronicity where you are connected to people from the subconscious. This is the thesis of Jung. And I strongly believe that we may interact with people by expanding our mind. There are some techniques from transcendental meditation to other techniques that we call flow. If you implement them, maybe, I believe, maybe you are more open to subconscious connectivity. Then it comes the synchronicity. What is synchronicity? Synchronicity is a kind of coincidence with a purpose. Then you meet people. I can give you an example. When I met your team, when I met Vladimir, my friend, I met him by 100% synchronicity. He gave me a call. He gave me a call that he wanted to discuss with me a topic about blockchain. I had never heard about blockchain. I said, guy, I'm flying now. I'm connecting flight in São Paulo, but let's schedule for next week. Oh, Vlad replied, I'm connecting flight in São Paulo as well.
Oh
Where
my
are you?
goodness.
I said, look, I'm at the gate 12. And he was on the gate 8. And then we met in the airport and we had 10 minutes. It's the elevator pitch. In 10 minutes, he explained me, and I took the flight from São Paulo to Uberlândia, and he was flying from São Paulo to Rio. Then it was the way we connected. And there is some synchronicity in this. And if you, Steve Jobs used to say, if you connect the dots retrospectively, you will understand what is synchronicity. Then I believe that if you are open, and the other aspect is that the purpose. If you have a purpose, you will
Yeah.
attract people with the same purpose, and they will be willing to collaborate. They will be willing to help you. They will require your help, and then you create this very productive cycle. I believe, but I want
Me
to
either.
leave to understand and to confirm this. This is it's not my thesis. It's Gustav Jung thesis, and I am a strong believer.
Me too. It's amazing, amazing. Uh, Dr. Roberto, if you could give an essential piece of advice for a person, an owner for a startup who is developing an innovative product today, what would that advice be? It means you have been learning a lot in this environment, and could you please share at least one piece of advice to them?
I believe that number one, above every, is the formal authority. You must have formal authority on your business, on your subject. After having formal authority, you are absolutely good. You invested the theory of 10,000 hours, and you are convicted that you do have authority on your topic. This is number one. Out of this, there are a lot of challenges that you can interact with them on the startups, and I've been dealing with startups that failed, that had success. I have dealt with people that failed in the very early phase, but then they moved to another area, and this is a very important tip to share with them, that you must have number two. Once you have the authority, you must have flexibility to understand that sometimes you must turn right or turn left. This flexibility is the second piece of advice that I would offer. Number three, you must have a productive creativity, because sometimes the innovator,
Yeah.
they do have creativity, but they don't believe what for. They don't ask what for. You must ask
Focus it, right?
what's the focus, and what will be the impact of this innovation. You must have this creative innovation with but it must be productive. Then you
Yeah.
must smell the money. Money is a general way
Yes.
to, because you deploy the same effort. With these three key messages, I would move into the regular ones. There are regular ones that you must be close to funding. Funding is very important, and financial management, because you must have funding to move forward. Talent acquisition and retention, it's a huge challenge, because sometimes you start a project with a brilliant partner, and if your partner is really brilliant, you are running a risk to lose him. Then you must learn how to retain. Uh, you must understand very clearly what are the regulatory and legal compliance. We have a lot of experience on that field. When we are
Yeah.
dealing with the wearables, I have some solutions in wearables, but when I go to the liability, liability may kill your project. Technology advancement, it's a challenge, because if you are dealing with a technology, within 2 months a Chinese guy will improve your technology, you'll be outdated. Then you must be close related. All the startups we are dealing, I can mention you Conexa. Conexa nowadays is dealing with 23 million people every year, and the subscribed access patients. And every other day, there is a new app, a new implementation, a new challenge. Then the technology advancement, how you integrate the apps, and the demand of the market is always challenging you. And but number one, formal authority and purpose. If you have purpose, and you have asked the question to nature, and then you can move on. And this ecosystem, and at the Aggir Ventures, we are very well connected to support all of these topics. We help the startups with scaling, talent acquisition, funding, regulatory, legal, and all of them. So it's a mix, but on the top of them, you must be authority. You must be authority on your topic. Well,
Amazing.
actually, we had an example, very, very interesting. One of our very first, actually, it was the first startup we invested at the Aggir Ventures. It was Upflux. Upflux is process mining technology. And the guys, brilliant guys, they were dealing with process mining, process mining, process mining. They had a huge knowledge and solutions on AI. Then we strongly recommended them, please open the doors for AI products. They had all the knowledge. And when it was launched, the Chat GPT challenge, word challenge, Upflux is more than ready to navigate in this field. And then it was one of our advisors from it was Sydney Breyer that recommended. He had the insight. Insight is an amazing phenomena from the mind. He had an insight, and in a board meeting, he recommended turn on flexibility. You must have flexibility, but you must have authority. If you have authority, you can move, you may be flexible, and you can open other doors in this changing world, very fast changing world.
Yes, the world is moving fast, so we have to adapt, if, especially if you are a startup. And absolutely, yeah. And by the way, I have to say that we are very proud to have you as a partner at Bitboundaire. And for someone who has always valued startup initiative like you, how does it feel to see all that Bitboundaire has been doing to support our customers with top quality software development?
I'm so excited about Bitboundary, and I can tell you in detail why I'm that excited about Bitboundary. Because first of all, it was the way we connected. It was synchronicity at the airport gates. Then I realized that I was dealing with brilliant guys that own authority. It was the starting point. And they were very open-minded. Vladimir, Kaká, all of them. I was really excited. But Bitboundary, we developed some other startups together, like cyclists. We implemented blockchain for clinical research. But then it came Bitboundary, and they signed a contract with an international company that required them to move to the US. I won't mention names here. And after like 3 months, I asked Vlad to share with me what Bitboundary was doing in the US. When he opened the the range of startups, technology, knowledge, innovation that he was supporting, I was astonished, and then I immediately told him, Vlad, had you realized the power of the knowledge you are connecting? And I can guarantee you, by all the means, this is one of the most promising team I've been dealing with. It's not only the Bitboundary, but to be connected with such good companies, clever companies, and learn from them. That Bitboundary is supporting the companies, but is always learning with this opportunity to the ecosystem. So for me, is one of the most exciting and challenging groups that are working with the formal authority, flexibility, and the scalability. It's incredible the way Bitboundary is prepared to scale. And they are scaling in a way that I had never faced before, in such a natural way that it's like drinking water for them. It's embedded in their nature. It's not a big effort. And one very important aspect, that they're playing. They're playing. So they're happy, they are committed, they are
Yeah.
excited about the purpose. They're never involved with any project uh, before they evaluate the purpose. And they are all playing. They are in the kid garden playing with the technology, the tools to improve. And I witnessed over the past 6 years, I witnessed their refusal of some projects. And I asked them, why not to move this way? There is no play, there is no purpose. Then we don't want to move this way. And so
Yeah.
I think it's amazing to see such young guys, very well connected, multidisciplinary, a range of knowledge. They can fix everything in the digital. I'm a doctor. I'm not a computer science guy. In my
Almost there, right? Because after
ah,
so many technical.
I'm not. I'm an illiterate, close to them. But the range of solutions that they are integrating, every startup I'm involved in, I schedule a meeting with them. Everyone. I want all these startups to spend at least 1 hour to learn from them how they can interact and support each other. So it's really exciting. It's I would keep talking to you for the next 30 minutes about the cases. The cases. One case. Let me tell you one case. Just one case. It's
Sure.
amazing. This case. I asked the Bitboundaire guys to support me at the Adib Jatene Foundation in São Paulo. They went there for a very specific purpose. It was to follow the bills and to integrate the bills with artificial intelligence. They did it. They saved like $1 billion per year in the cat lab, only in the cat lab. But by working there, they called me, look, doctor, we need to give you an advice. You are running some risks on your security and privacy. We can help you, and we can support your team to improve your privacy. So it was a clear example. They went there for one purpose, and they made a broader diagnosis of our technology challenges, and they support the hospital. And now the IT guys is 100% dependent on the Bitboundaire guys support. It was a clear example that not only provide the solution we required, but they got a deep evaluation of our environment and help us on the security and also on the efficiency. I can tell you that we improved the average 40%, 40% efficiency.
Whoa.
In one department, we saved like 18 days per month. Out of 22 days, we saved 18 days of our man work. So this is amazing. I would keep talking to you. And there is no bias here. There's no bias. I'm absolutely free of any bias, and very happy to share with you these outstanding outcomes that they provided. They provided the outcomes. Because for me, it's a huge responsibility when I introduce Bitboundary to someone, to some company, particularly when I'm in the board of the companies. It's a huge responsibility. But I'm so confident that at the end of the cycle, they will bring the outcomes, very objective outcomes. The return of investment for any dollar they invest in this technology, they will receive back a huge amount. The average return of investment was like 1.23%. It was incredible. 1.23 times. It's 23% improvement.
Mhm. Amazing. Using technology to support and help people around the world. I think that Bitboundaire has been doing it. So I'm proud to be here and support some many startups and hospitals, like you mentioned it. So yeah, I'm very proud about Bitboundaire as well.
Let me give you one example. I think it's remarkable, and I think the audience will understand very well. We created a program dedicated to myocardial infarction. Everybody understands what is myocardial infarction because it's the number one cause of mortality worldwide. We connected 230 centers in Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. And in this pilot program, we implemented telemedicine, artificial intelligence, and process mining to help poor centers to diagnose and to speed up process for treating myocardial infarction. Whole technology. We didn't change the drugs. We didn't change the doctors. We didn't change the hospital beds. We just implemented process guided by AI. Look at the figures. We saw 800,000 patients suffering from chest pain. Out of these 800,000, it's published, we diagnosed 8,000 myocardial infarction. And we could perform primary angioplasty in 4,000 of them. It's incredible, 50%. Brazil average is 5%. Then we improved by 10 the access to the angioplasty. We reduced mortality from 27% to 4%.
Whoa, amazing.
It's an absolute reduction. Absolute is not relative. Absolute reduction of average of 20%. We saved, if we brought those process into the whole Brazilian environment, we could save 11 billion reais per year, and we could save 200 lives a day. I will repeat. If we implemented that pilot program in the whole Brazilian healthcare system, we would save 11 billion reais and 200 lives a day. It was artificial intelligence and process mining in a myocardial infarction network. It was an amazing program with a lot of technology, but at the end of the day, it comes the purpose. We improve patient lives and health economy.
Fantastic, fantastic, absolutely. And to finalize this wonderful webinar, I want to ask about the future. We have AI growth in the market now, and what we can imagine for the future in your opinion, Dr. Roberto?
This is a $10 billion question. That's really, it's really. I'm following these trends, and I think we need to move our ethical consideration because of the acceleration, and there is a huge challenge on autonomous AI, and no one can predict. If we take the advice from Elon Musk, from Steve Jobs in the past, and they claim that there will be a lot of jobs that will be closed, but on the other hand, we will open exactly the same number of new jobs. But how will we train these people? How are our countries prepared to educate this digital generation? It's a huge challenge. Then we need to keep talking to managers, to government, to advise them to invest in this digital education, because it's a huge challenge. From the healthcare point of view, no doubt we'll face efficiency. As I told you, we are dealing with average 40% inefficiency. We can improve efficiency. We can save a lot of money. We can improve access, but at a cost that may challenge some aspects. For instance, if you come to new organ generation from 3D stem cells and AI, if this technology comes to the control of some people, we may be at risk. So it's a huge challenge of opportunity and threat. This is the key message. I would say it's side by side, opportunity and threat. And the way technology is dealing with this challenge is AI versus AI. You implement AI to combat the bad AI, and healthcare, as all the other fields, will face. But I think in the healthcare business, healthcare scenario, artificial intelligence has a lot to teach. Let me give you one clear example. We saw one startup that used natural language understanding. It's one step ahead of natural language processing. In this startup, robots can talk to the patient, understand, they understand, they access the patient file, they understand the patient variables, and they can access the cloud to get the guidelines for treatment. So they close the cycle. By touching an iPhone, you can have an interview with the robot. The robot will understand your language, not only process, they will understand, they can make diagnosis. Period. It's running. It's
Yeah.
running. Then from who is responsible for any outcome, any unexpected outcome? Who will be responsible for any misinterpretation? And who will control the quality of all of this cloud offered health system? If you as a citizen, you connect to an app in your iPhone and you access an Indian company that is providing you with a diagnosis that will deliver the drug to your house, who will control the process? So there is a huge challenge in this environment, but I'm an optimist. From the past 25 years, I've witnessed from the early beginning to now that I'm a cardiologist. I'm experienced a better practice. I can see more patients. I can offer them better quality. So I'm optimist. But on the other hand, I'm always paying attention to these challenges to move in the right way with purpose. But who knows?
Amazing. Dr. Roberto, thank you so much for being here today with us. It's amazing to learn about your journey. So thank you. In the name of all the team in Bitboundaire, I would say thank you for sharing with us about this amazing knowledge in terms of startups and as cardiologists as well. So it's a pleasure.
I thank you. I'm really excited about sharing this experience with people, and I hope to help anyone who is willing to invest in the innovation and to help the health tech to improve. And our country requires more quality. And thank you so much for this educational opportunity.
Thank you very much. See you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.